You taste iron in the air, battlefield wind, sweat, and crushed grass under thousands of restless feet. The sun hangs hot and white, like it refuses to blink. Somewhere beyond the low ridge, Philistine horns bark and answer each other. In Israel's camp, men pace with spears in hand, knuckles pale around wood and leather. Armor plates clack like nervous teeth. Sandals scrape hard ground that is already dark with trampled weeds. The last fight still burns behind everyone's eyes. For 1,000 bodies lie out there somewhere, faces turned into the dirt. The names are still on living tongues. Sons, brothers, friends, spoken like a prayer that keeps failing. A father stares at his own hands as if they should be red. A young man wipes his mouth and tastes salt and fear. At the center of the camp, the elders huddle with their robes pulled tight, heads bent, voices low. You edge close enough to catch the tremor in their words. Why does the Lord strike us today before the Philistines? One elder breathes, and his eyes dart as if the question itself might summon lightning. Another elder grips his staff like it is the last upright thing left in the world. No one wants to say the next thought out loud, because it tastes like betrayal. But it is there, hanging between them like smoke. If God is with us, why are we bleeding? Then someone, some bright, desperate mind, pushes forward an answer that feels like a rope thrown into deep water. Let us bring the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord from Shiloh, he says. His voice rises, gathering courage as men turn their faces, that it may come among us and save us from the power of our enemies. You feel the shift in the camp. It is not repentance that spreads, it is relief. It is the kind of relief gamblers feel when they find one more coin in their pocket. It is the kind of relief a drowning man feels when his fingers brush driftwood. Runners launch like arrows. Dust curls behind their ankles. They sprint toward Shiloh, toward the tent where the holy wood rests under curtain and shadow, where the gold of the mercy seat waits in silence. You stand among soldiers who begin to speak more loudly now, as if volume itself can force heaven's hand. Someone laughs too hard. Someone spits into the dirt like he spits out doubt. Someone else says, "Now we win." The words taste sweet for a moment. Hours drag. The heat presses. Flies gather on the edges of the camp, drawn by sweat and old blood. Your throat goes dry. You ask yourself in the quiet of your mind, if we can carry the ark into battle, does that mean God must move when we move? Then the shout changes. At first it is a murmur, like wind moving through a wheat field. Then it swells, rises, breaks, and becomes a roar, like a New Year crowd when the last seconds count down and everybody screams because they cannot bear the silence of what comes next. Here it comes, shoulders under poles, Levites straining, the ark moving through the camp. Gold flashes under sun like a sudden firework. The carved cherubim's wings catch the light, and the mercy seat gleams like a blade. Men lift their hands, not in calm worship, but in frantic hunger. You smell dust and sweat and the faint perfume of sacred oil clinging to linen. At the front, two figures walk with stiff confidence, and their names carry weight like stones. Hophni and Phinehas, sons of Eli. Their eyes do not soften at the sight of the holy thing. Their faces do not tremble with awe. They wear religion like armor, and the camp responds like it has already won. Israel shouts with a great shout, so that the earth itself seems to split and groan beneath them. The sound rolls over the ridge and slams into Philistine ears. Somewhere beyond, men who worship Dagon freeze mid-step. Hands tighten on swords. Eyes widen. Philistine voices rise in panic. You can almost hear them even from here, like a carried echo. What does this great shouting in the camp of the Hebrews mean? A scout runs into their ranks, breath ragged. God has come into the camp. He pants, and the words hit like cold water. Philistine faces blanch. Someone whispers, "Woe to us." Another says, "Who can deliver us from the power of these mighty gods?" For a heartbeat, Israel drinks that fear like wine. Men grin with broken teeth. Shoulders straighten. They tap the ark's poles with reverent fingers as if to say, "You see? You see?" They are afraid now. But beneath the roar, beneath the shaking ground, a trembling question slips through the cracks, quiet, unwanted, sharp as a thorn. What if we are carrying a throne without bowing to the king? The next sound is not victory. It is screaming. It begins as a far-off clash, metal on metal, then rushes toward you like a storm that decides to land. The Philistines surge. Their war cries cut through Israel's songs. The line buckles. Shields slam. Spears bite. Dust rises in thick clouds and swallows the horizon until the sun becomes a dull coin. You choke on grit. A man beside you swings and misses, his blade whistling through air, and in the next instant a Philistine axe cracks into his shoulder. Blood sprays warm across your forearm. The man's mouth opens and no sound comes out at first, only breath that tastes like death. Feet pound. Men shove. Someone screams a name, Asher, like he can pull his brother back from the abyss with syllables. The ground shakes with bodies moving the wrong direction. Retreat becomes stampede. You look for the Arkansas. You look for the gold flash that is supposed to mean God is with us. You find Levites pushed, stumbling, eyes wild. Poles tilt. The sacred chest sways like a lantern in a hurricane. Hophni shouts orders, but his voice is thin against the roar of Philistine rage. Phinehas swings his sword with the panic of a man who realizes too late that he cannot bargain with holiness. The ark, the symbol everyone leans on, becomes the center of chaos, hands reaching, bodies colliding, a holy thing surrounded by unholy desperation. Steel hits bone. A spear slides between ribs with a wet sound. Someone falls, and the dust closes over his face as if the earth swallows him without ceremony. And then it happens, an unthinkable sight that makes your stomach drop into your feet. Philistine hands seize the poles. Rough fingers, stained with battle, grip holy wood. A shout of triumph rises, not from Israel this time, but from the mouths of idol worshippers who cannot believe what they touch. The ark disappears into enemy lines like a swallowed sun. You stand stunned, hearing your own heartbeat louder than your own breath. The camp's earlier roar feels like a cruel joke now, a song sung over a grave. You taste bile. You want to run after it, to grab it back, to fix what cannot be fixed. But bodies press you backward. The tide of fear carries you like a leaf. All around, Israel collapses. 30,000 foot soldiers fall. The number is too large for the mind. It becomes a landscape of corpses. Hophni falls. Phinehas falls. Their blood darkens the ground like spilled ink. A messenger, clothes torn, head dusted with dirt, breaks away and runs toward Shiloh, toward the old priest who waits. His sandals slap the road. His breath burns. He does not look back because if he looks back, he may not keep running. You follow the story with your eyes, as if you run with him. Shiloh's gates come into view. People gather, sensing disaster in the way his arms flail, in the way his face tightens like it is holding back a scream. He cries out, and the city's heart lurches. Eli sits by the road, heavy and blind, listening, waiting. His fingers twitch on the armrest. When the messenger speaks, his words tumble out like stones down a hill. Israel flees. There is a great defeat. Your 2 sons are dead. Eli's face goes gray, but the messenger has one more sentence, one more blade to drive in, and the ark of God is taken. At those words, Eli's body jerks as if the sentence hits him in the chest. He falls backward. His neck snaps. Silence swallows the air. Inside a nearby house, Phinehas's wife goes into labor, pain folding her like cloth. Women cry out, trying to comfort her, but comfort dies on their tongues when they hear her whisper. Her eyes stare at the ceiling like she sees something departing. She names the child Ichabod. The glory is gone. And you stand in the ache of it. Not just lost battle, not just lost sons. Something deeper. A people who treat God's presence like a weapon now sit with emptiness like a stone in the gut. But the ark is not dead. The ark is not chained. The ark moves, carried by Philistine hands into Philistine land. And the air changes. The smell changes. The songs change. You step into a foreign city where walls stand thick and confident. Philistine streets bustle with victory. People point and laugh. They follow the procession like it is a parade. The ark rides high, and men boast. Dagon wins, they shout. Dagon triumphs over Israel's God. They bring it into their temple. Incense burns thick and proud, sweet and choking. The ceiling is dark with smoke. Dagon's idol towers, stone and carved power, its face blank and its hands outstretched like it receives worship that does not belong to it. Priests chant. Drums thud low. The ark is set beside Dagon like a trophy beside a king's chair. Philistines clap each other on the back. A man lifts a cup and spills wine on the floor in celebration. Someone laughs and says, "Now their God kneels to ours." Night comes. Doors shut. Lamps dim. The air cools. At dawn, temple servants enter with sleepy eyes, expecting the familiar stillness of stone gods. Instead, a cry explodes from their throats. Dagon lies face down on the floor before the ark, as if the idol throws itself into the dirt. Men rush in, stumbling over robes. They stare, stunned. The idol, heavy, carved, rests like a fallen man. No hands push it. No rope pulls it. It is simply down, humbled, forehead to stone tiles. They exchange uneasy glances. One priest swallows hard, as if his mouth suddenly fills with sand. They grab Dagon and strain to lift him upright. Stone scrapes against stone. The idol stands again. They pretend the moment is nothing. They force laughter. They close the doors. But the next morning, the temple air feels colder. When they step inside, their breath catches. Dagon lies face down again. Only now the head is broken off. The hands are broken off. Pieces scatter on the threshold like shattered pride. Silence stretches. No one laughs. No one boasts. They stare at the broken idol, then at the ark, and something like dread crawls under their skin. And then the terror grows teeth. In Ashdod, bodies break out in sickness. Tumors swell. Pain bends strong men into whimpering shapes. The city's laughter becomes groaning. Mothers hush, crying children whose skin burns with fever. The smell of sickness spreads, stale sweat, bile, fear. People whisper in alleys. "It is the hand of the God of Israel," someone says, eyes wide. Another spits and shakes his head as if to shake off a nightmare. "Send it away." A merchant pleads, clutching his stomach. City leaders gather, faces tight, voices sharp. "Send the ark of the God of Israel away," they say. "Let it return to its own place, lest it kill us and our people." They move it to Gath. The cart creaks. Wheels bump over stones. Men keep their distance like they fear the air around the Arkansas. In Gath, the same dread blooms. The hand of the Lord presses down, and the city erupts in confusion. Strong men cry out. People run. Someone slams a door and barricades it like what can stop judgment. They send it to Ekron, and Ekron's people see it coming and scream. They bring around to us the ark of the God of Israel to kill us and our people. Panic ripples through streets like fire through dry brush. The cry rises to heaven. Philistine rulers gather again, faces pale now, arrogance bleeding out of them. "Send away the ark," they say. "Let it go back to its own place." 7 months pass like a long fever dream. 7 months of cities learning that the presence of the living God is not a trophy you set on a shelf. At last, they call priests and diviners. They speak in hushed, careful tones, as if loud speech might provoke the unseen hand. "What shall we do with the ark of the Lord?" they ask. "Tell us with what we shall send it to its place." They craft a plan that smells like desperation disguised as ritual. A new cart, 2 milk cows that never pull before, a guilt offering, golden tumors, golden mice, shiny confessions of a terror they cannot explain away. The morning they send it, the sky is pale. The cows low, uneasy, their sides heavy with milk. Calves are shut up behind, and the cows bellow, a sound that cuts like grief. The cart creaks forward anyway, and the cows, against every instinct, walk straight toward Israel's border, lowing as they go. Philistine lords follow at a distance, eyes narrowed, watching like men who cannot decide whether to hope or fear. The cart rolls over stones, through grass, along the road to Beth Shemesh. In Beth Shemesh, Israelites reap wheat. Sickles swing. Grain falls in golden piles. Then someone looks up and freezes. The ark sits on a cart, coming toward them like a sunrise after a long night. A shout breaks from their throats. Men drop tools. Women run. Children point. "The ark," they cry. "The ark returns." They split wood from the cart and offer the cows as burnt offering. Smoke rises. The smell of burning flesh fills the air, thick, heavy, sacred. Levites set the ark on a stone. They lift hands. They sing. But joy turns sharp when curiosity steps too close. Some men of Beth Shemesh look into the ark and saw. It is not a gentle peek, it is a trespass. A line is crossed, and the air feels suddenly thin. Men drop. Bodies fall like cut grass. A cry of horror shakes the field. Who is able to stand before the Lord, this holy God? They wail. And to whom shall he go up away from us? Even in return, Israel still does not know how to hold holy things. The ark is moved again, this time to Kiriath-Jearim, to the house of Abinadab on the hill. They consecrate Eleazar to keep it. Years begin to stack like stones. 20 years pass, and the ark sits in quiet shadow while Israel sighs and groans. Time flows. Faces change. A boy who hears old men talk becomes a man with scars. A shepherd becomes a king. Saul's troubled reign shakes the nation, then gives way to David, the son of Jesse, warrior, singer, the one whose hands smell like sheep and sword hilt. David's heart burns for unity. He wants Jerusalem. He wants the tribes joined like a single rope. And in that desire, he reaches for the ark, because he knows, somewhere deep, Israel cannot be whole without the presence of the Lord at the center. So a day comes when David gathers 30,000 chosen men. The air is alive with anticipation. The road is packed with bodies. People bring instruments, lyres, harps, tambourines, castanets, cymbals. The sound is bright, metallic, joyful. It feels like celebration. It feels like a New Year night when everybody believes tomorrow can be clean. They set the ark on a new cart. The wood is fresh. The wheels are smooth. Uzzah and Ahio, sons of Abinadab, walk beside it. Ahio goes before the ark like a guide. Uzzah stays near the side like a guard. David dances in spirit already, grinning, shouting, clapping. You watch the procession snake along the road. Dust rises in soft clouds around sandals. Sunlight glints on cymbals. Children run along the edges, laughing. Someone lifts a baby to see. The air smells like sweat and crushed herbs underfoot. And yet, underneath the music, something subtle scrapes at the soul. Why is the ark on a cart at all? Why does it ride like Philistine cargo instead of resting on priestly shoulders the way the Lord commands through Moses? The question hovers like a bird, unseen but present. The road dips. Stones jut up. The oxen pull, muscles tight under hide. Their hooves thud. The cart wobbles. The ark shifts. Gold catches the sun at a wrong angle, and suddenly it looks like it might slide. Your heart jumps. You feel the reflex in your own hands. Stop it. Steady it. Save it. Uzzah lunges. His eyes go wide. His breath catches. His hand shoots out. Fast, instinctive, human. Fingers stretch toward gold. You want to yell, careful, because this is not a party prop, not a national symbol to be handled when convenient. This is the place of the name. This is the throne sign of the Holy One who speaks worlds into being. Uzzah's palm touches the ark. The celebration snaps into silence. It is as if the music hits a wall. Cymbals stop mid-ring. Harps choke off. Feet halt. Dust hangs in the air, suspended. Uzzah falls dead beside the Arkansas. His body hits the ground with a dull finality. A gasp ripples through 30,000 throats. David's face drains of color. His mouth opens, but no song comes out. The air feels heavy, like pressure before a storm. People stare at the body, then at the ark, then at the sky, waiting for more. David's emotion turns like a blade. Anger flashes, hot, sudden. Fear follows, colder, deeper. He looks at the ark as if it is both treasure and threat. He says out loud what everyone feels, but no one dares to say. How can the ark of the Lord come to me? And in that moment you learn what Israel keeps forgetting. You cannot steady God like he is about to fall. Night comes, and fear sits down beside you like a heavy guest. The road that was full of music now feels like a funeral path. David's shoulders slump. He is a king, a warrior, a man who runs toward giants. Yet now his breath shortens in the nearness of God. He does not act brave. He trembles. He refuses to bring the ark into the city of David. He turns it aside, away from his own house, away from his own plans. The procession redirects toward the house of Obed-edom the Gittite. You follow the ark into that quiet place. No grand palace, no thunderous ceremony. Just a house with ordinary walls, ordinary bowls, ordinary lamps. The ark sits there, and the family's eyes stay wide. The air feels charged, like the hush before prayer. Days stack into weeks, weeks into months, and nothing breaks. No one dies. No lightning strikes the roof. Instead, blessing comes like rain soaking dry ground. Crops flourish. Work prospers. Peace settles. The house breathes easier. The laughter of children grows louder, not smaller. You stand in the doorway and ask yourself with honest trembling, what changes when God's presence is not used as a weapon, but honored as holy? Word reaches David. Messengers arrive with eyes bright, voices surprised. The Lord blesses the house of Obed-edom, they say, and all that belongs to him, because of the ark of God. David hears it, and something inside him breaks open, not arrogance, not control, but surrender. He understands, the ark is not a charm. The presence of the Lord is not a tool. It is a fire that warms and burns. So David rises again, but not with swagger. He returns with careful steps. He gathers priests and Levites. He listens. He searches the commands of God that he ignores before. He makes room for obedience. The day comes. Morning light spills over the hills. The air smells like fresh-cut wood and waiting. Priests wash. Linen garments settle on shoulders. Poles slide into rings. The ark is lifted, not by wheels, but by consecrated men whose knees tremble under the weight of glory. They take 6 steps. Only 6. Sandals press into dirt. Breath holds. And David commands a sacrifice. An ox falls. A fattened animal falls. Blood darkens the ground. Smoke rises, curling into the sky like a plea. The smell is sharp, iron and burning fat, life poured out because holiness is not casual. Then the procession moves again, slow and steady. Music starts, not frantic this time, but offered. Cymbals ring, harps shimmer, voices lift, and David dances before the Lord with all his might. It is not polished. It is not royal performance. It is a man stripped of pretense, a king who forgets his crown because the King of heaven draws near. His feet slap the dirt. His hair clings to sweat. His eyes shine with tears that do not apologize. People shout. Women sing. The city ahead, Jerusalem, waits with gates open like a mouth ready to receive breath. The ark enters, and joy rolls through streets like living water. Michal, Saul's daughter, watches from a window. Her lips tighten. Her eyes narrow. She despises David in her heart because humility looks like foolishness to pride. When David comes home to bless his household, she cuts him with words, mocking his dance, mocking his freedom. David's answer burns clean. He stands in the doorway, sweat still on his skin, and he speaks with a kind of holy defiance. It is before the Lord, and I will make myself yet more contemptible than this. He chooses the Lord's pleasure over human approval. And right there, in movement and music and sacrifice, revelation rises, not as lecture, but as lived truth. God's throne is not a weapon. It is mercy. The ark's cover, the mercy seat, does not announce, "You control me." It announces, "I let you live." It is the place where blood speaks, where judgment and compassion meet, where sinners are not consumed because God provides a way. Yet even this sacred center does not stay forever in Israel's hands. Kingdoms rise, kings fail, prophets weep, enemies march like locusts, fires consume cities. The temple groans under the weight of rebellion. And then, the ark slips out of history's grip. The scriptures do not give you a neat, cinematic scene of its final departure. It simply vanishes from the spotlight, like God refuses to let his presence be reduced to a box, reduced to a relic, reduced to something men can capture, display, or manage. Because God does not lose. God refuses to be used. And now, come with me out of temple smoke and battlefield dust, out of the clanging cymbals and the broken idol pieces, into your living room, your car, your quiet January morning. Because New Year's Eve does this to us. It makes us hungry for a guarantee. The calendar flips, and we feel that old ache rise. Please, let this be different. Please, let this be new. Please, let me not fall apart again. Maybe you stand near a kitchen counter with a phone glowing in your hand. Maybe you scroll through resolutions, promises, plans. Maybe you whisper a prayer that sounds like a bargain. God, if you help me this year, I will. And you stop, because you know your own track record. We may not carry a gold ark on poles, but we try to carry God the same way, like a talisman. We attach him to our goals. We drag him behind our timelines. We sprinkle his name on a plan and call it faith. You feel it in the way we talk. God, bless what I already decided. God, prove I am right. God, fix them. God, make my life safe. And if we are honest, we want the shout of Israel without the surrender of David. And the missing ark asks you a tender, terrifying question. Are you seeking God or trying to use him? Let the question sit. Let it search you without condemnation, because the Lord is not asking to crush you. He is asking to free you from a lie that exhausts your soul, the lie that you can manage his presence like a tool. Israel learns it the hard way. The Philistines learn it the hard way. Uzzah learns it in an instant. And David learns it in fear, then in joy. Holiness is not a toy, but it is not your enemy either. Here is the good news that rises out of all that trembling. You do not need to build a better box. You do not need a stronger ritual. You do not need a louder shout. God comes closer than a box. In Jesus Christ, the presence of God does not merely visit a room. He makes a home in his people. The Holy One draws near not as a trophy to display, but as a Savior who carries you. You are not trying to drag God into your year like Israel drags the ark into a fight. You are invited to walk with him, to be led by him, to be changed by him from the inside out. And you feel the difference immediately. A charm says, if I do the right thing, God must do what I want. A relationship says, because he loves me, I trust him even when I do not understand. This is not powered by panic resolutions. This is powered by identity. If you belong to Christ, you are loved. You are brought near. You are cleansed. You are not trying to earn a throne. You are invited to bow before a king who calls you his own. So as the year turns, do not drag God behind your goals. Walk with him in front of them. Let him be king, not mascot. Let him be holy, not handy. Let him search motives you hide, even from yourself. Maybe the Spirit presses on that one hidden thing. Bitterness you polish, lust you feed, pride you defend, money you clutch, control you worship. You feel the heat of it, and you want to flinch back. But hear this. The Lord does not expose to shame you. He exposes to heal you. David trembles, then David dances. That is the path. Fear that leads to wisdom. Reverence that opens into joy. Obedience that makes room for blessing. Now receive the spiritual verdict that the story itself shouts without shouting. God's presence is not something you control. God's presence is someone who carries you. And here is the mirror. You stand where Israel stands. You stand with the temptation to grab holy things with unwashed motives. You stand with the urge to steady what feels shaky. You stand with the hunger to turn God into a guarantee. But you also stand where Obed-edom stands, with an open door. You also stand where David stands, with the chance to trade swagger for surrender and fear for holy joy. So I invite you, right now, as you sit with this story in your chest, turn your heart toward the Lord. Not with a scripted performance, not with a bargain, with honesty, with awe. Pray like this, in your own words. Lord, I stop using your name to bless my plans. I want you. I want your ways. Teach me to honor you. Forgive my casual heart. Let me this year make my home like Obed-edom's, open to your rule and rich with your mercy. And if you do not know Christ, if his name feels distant, let this be the moment you stop reaching for a box and start reaching for a Savior. Say, Jesus, I need you. I cannot carry myself. Carry me. Cleanse me. Make me yours. Beloved, because he loves you, you can bow without fear. Because he is holy, you can stop pretending. Because he is merciful, you can begin again, not with a shout that tries to force heaven, but with a life that welcomes the King. This is Lewis L. Martin, servant of the Word with Pure Scripture Ministries. If this message pierces your heart, share it, subscribe, and join us again, because the God who refuses to be used is the God who loves to dwell with his people.